Alright, so I'm going to apologize in advance if this is a little bit shaky. This is just a quick thing that I was asked to do to show how to do a reverse figure 8 stitch. Now, this is a project I'm currently working on, and as you can see from the outside, you can't really tell that there's a difference in the stitching. However, when you look on the inside of the bag, you can tell that I have alternated a regular stockinette stitch with the figure 8 stitch. And this part of the figure 8 stitch is what you would want to see on the hat that they are asking us to transform to a loom pattern. So using the same chunky yarn, and I would imagine you could do this with any type of yarn. Again, I apologize for the unsteadiness here. I'm going to go ahead and slip knot and cast on. Do one row of a regular stitch. Let me just get into my toolbox here. I commandeered my husband's tackle box for all my knitting supplies. So, okay. So I'm just going to slip stitch this on. And I mean, I'm not too worried right now because I'm going to undo this once I'm done. I have to use this yarn for that bag, but I figured it would be a nice way to show. Pull that to the inside. I'm just going to cast on with an E-wrap. And I do work pretty fast since this is stuff that y'all should already know. If you need me to slow down and do another one of these, I can. I wasn't really planning on starting to do videos for a while because I'm not set up. I don't have a tripod. I actually have a pretty much jerry-rigged attachment so that the camera is hanging off my head at the moment to give you this first person view. So just pull these down. I'm going to put my yarn on the floor. That way I can get a easier way of doing this. And this is just the way I knit. You can do this any way that you prefer to hold the loom. This is just what's most comfortable for me. Again, pull this down a little bit. That way I can get my second row on. Peg that off. I'm just going to knit over. And we're going to pretend that this is not a cast on stitch, that this is, say, the end of one of your figure 8 rows or one of your garter stitch if you're starting from the brim of this hat. You'd want to start in the flat, gradually increasing to make the shape of the brim, and then pick up the rest of the loom to be the base of the hat. And from what I could see in the picture, there is a line of this stitch that we're looking for right there at the base of this hat. So this would be the first one that you'd pick up as the whole hat. For that one, I would imagine you could either do it as a purl or a knit or a figure 8. But normally you do your single wrap and your pullover from the front. And the trick, and this is going to take some getting used to, I know, because once you've been knitting for as long as we have, this becomes rote habit. But the trick is to knit backwards, to do your entire cast on and everything from the inside out. So I knit very tightly, so if you knit more loosely, you'll have an easier time with that than I did. Okay, so normally to do a figure 8, of course, we would start from the back. However, we're going to flip this around and we're going to do everything from the front. So where you would normally go behind, you come in front, and then you go like this. And then from back here, you'd want to pick this stitch up and knit it over. And this is, like I said, it's going to be hard to figure out how to do whatever's comfortable for you. And it's probably going to be tight because you don't have that handy little groove. And what this is going to do is it's going to put that row, that nice big chunky row that we're looking for, on the outside of the loom. So once again, start at the front, make your figure 8, come to the back of the loom, and knit over. And I mean, this is just, I'm picking up a cast on row, so this will be a little bit easier. Ooh. Yeah, I knit very tightly. Let's make sure I'm just getting the one I want. Just this bottom one here. Bottom 2 for figure 8. I'm just having a bit of trouble because there's no groove. This does take a little bit to do, but luckily you only have to do it 2, maybe 3 times in the entire hat. So you just want to take that bottom loop and bring it over to the front. And I mean, a figure 8 is already pretty tight, and to be doing it without the groove is going to take a little bit of effort. But you see, we're starting to get that thicker cabling here in the front, and that's what we want for this one. So once again, do your figure 8, but start from the front of the peg. If you do it to where you skip a peg and you come all the way out and do it like that, you can. If you do it just a smaller figure 8 like I do, you can do that as well. And then come to the back of the loom, pick up that bottommost stitch, and just try to pick it up and take it over to the front of the peg. And I am really having trouble with this because it's so tight. So I guess just be really careful to do your stitches a little bit loose to do it this way. So just remember though, you're reversing everything. So where you would normally come from the back and do it, you're going to come from the front and do it. And then you'll pick it up from the back of the loom and bring it over to the front. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments of the post, and I will try to answer your questions. This particular yarn does not have a lot of give to it. That's part of the reason why things are so tight. Once it's on there tight, it's on there tight. So I would make sure that you knit loosely with this. Do it 1 stitch at a time. Even if you're used to being one of those ladies that will do your entire wrap and then do your entire knit like I do, do this one 1 stitch at a time, and it's going to give you that nice cabled look like this, only on the outside of your piece. Okay? All right. Happy looming.